what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another Sakuzyo reaction. Today we have Lwyn. I don't know how I'm supposed to say this title. All I know is that it's a Sakuzyo song, and that's good enough for me. Deezballs and my executive producers wanted me to get to this one, and they said, I really fucking love violins, which I'm sure is just a copy of what they said last time, where they also said they loved violins. So I'm expecting violins in this one as well, and that's about all I've got for context. So without further ado, let's go! I mean, I'm hearing strings, but the focus is on piano for now. Okay, now it's building. Building to something. What was that? Huh. I thought it was gonna build to something much more grand. Took the less is more approach. Oh, the vocals added so much. Now the piano is syncopated with everything else. Woo. Very uplifting melody. With a healthy amount of heart. Back off into atmospheric. Okay. There's the violin. More focus on the violin at very least. Yeah, okay. I do also fucking love violins. Not that it didn't before now, but this doesn't hurt, you know? Jesus! Squealing up there on that high note. I love the atmosphere on this song. I love atmosphere in music in general. But once in a while, there's a song that just paints a perfect picture of what this world is supposed to be, that you're supposed to be experiencing. Sakuzyo does it quite often, but this is probably the most vibrant one I've heard in a while. So I looked up the word. Apparently it's Welsh, and Lwyn is pretty close to how it's pronounced. I'm not Welsh, so I'm sure I'm butchering that to any local, but close enough, you know? So that's pretty neat. Learned something new today. So this song is kind of surprisingly more simple than you would think on the back end. There's a lot more happening on the top for the melody and everything that makes it sound much more, you know, full. But largely what's going on here is like you got A flat, you got G flat, you got E flat minor and F minor. So lots of flat relationships, lots of minors in there, which just makes everything feel a little bit more dense as far as the emotional impact of the song. It doesn't really release many times. It does a few times into an F, and it also releases once into, I think, an A minor, which is not necessarily an emotional release. Mostly just the F handles that. We also do have a B flat minor in there, which just works within the chord. So of course it's going to show up at some point, but here we are. mostly with these. And we do also get a D flat for the same purpose that the B flat minor is in there. The D flat is just kind of an extra, I call these connecting chords that just kind of act as the little bits that connect to other parts, or they change the energy of the song. That's where the F comes in. It usually follows that D flat. So there are reasons for those to be in there, but it's not like the main chunk of the song that's built out of that. A lot of the song is mainly the A flat, G flat, E flat minor, and F minor. And just not really even necessarily in that order, but I think it mostly kind of just builds up from that, you know, and it just kind of circles around. There's a few variants within the song, of course, but those chords in that pattern exactly are what we get for most of the song. I would say roughly 2/3 of the way through the song, there's that one portion that keeps building. That's the pattern that plays, and it's a good chunk of the song. So I would be confident in saying that much. But like I said, it's pretty much just the variations that you can put wherever you want. Obviously, that was a different one, same chords, and again, throw in a little bit of the B flat minor in there and the D flat to be able to go into something else. Then you have a new energy to go from, or like this to this. You know, like that sounds a little bit crunchy too. So it's like there's room for that to grow and do something else. Like if you wanted to use the B flat minor, for example, you could go to that and then into that A minor, that weird one. I don't think this ever happens in the song, but the way to get out of it would be to G flat and then back down to like the E flat minor or something, just to keep things built and like not lose the energy or the momentum there. But I think in the way that they use it in the song, it probably comes out of the F minor and into that before like settling back into this. Maybe is how they do that. It's another way to do it, maybe a little bit more bold, but when has Sakuzyo never been bold, you know? Every single day with that guy. But again, amazing song, love the energy on it. I love the atmosphere of this one, like I mentioned at the very end of the reaction. There are some songs that just really get the emotion through that atmosphere, and that's most of the song, right? Like we got it in the piano, we got it in the strings. I get why the violin was definitely a factor for this one being requested, but really for me, the emotion comes from that atmosphere, really setting the scene and making it sound just a little bit more, I don't know if I would call it like haunting, but beautifully haunting for sure. Just something that adds that tension, but also it doesn't necessarily feel threatening. There's something strange about that window, you know, like psychologically, that's hard for a human brain to understand. To be able to hear something that sounds beautiful, but also adds a little bit of tension, but not quite so much that you're immediately put on edge like a horror film or something. It's more of just like, I feel like there's somebody watching me while I'm walking through this extremely peaceful forest. You know, there's something that makes our minds wander that this song manages to nail with that atmosphere, and it feels that way. So I don't think that was the image talking to me. It was mostly the music that was giving me that sound, mostly that atmosphere underneath everything, that bedrock foundation of, hey, maybe not everything's great here, despite the beauty that this song is. There's a little bit of that wiggle room that could be something else. And what that is never really answered in the song either, because it leaves us with that cliffhanger of sorts in the atmosphere. It doesn't give us any sort of finality. It just kind of trickles out and goes. And then the song kind of fades away. So it never really gives us that answer of what we're looking at. It's more of like the expanse beyond what you're seeing, and you know that that's there, but you can't really see beyond the immediate line of sight. So you don't know if there's something in the distant fog, and like there could be, but also it could just be more beautiful nature stuff, more just vast landscape that doesn't really have anything going on. Very barren, but not necessarily a threat. It could be any of that. So this is a beautiful track, and I love that that's the energy that came out of it. I don't know if that was the intended energy, but that's what I got out of it, and that's what I share with all of you. And hopefully the chords that I played for you make for some, at very least, inspiration for some of you to work on something yourself. Because these sorts of chords that are very hauntingly beautiful, these ones that build up and have this interesting, like there's a lift to it with that A flat and even the B flat minor that kind of gives it an emotional hang that makes you go, there's more to this. And maybe that would spark something for one of you to be able to play something or build something off of that. If you want to know what key we're in the key of B flat minor. So build off of that, use that emotional hang to your benefit. Make something with that. Something that haunts you a little bit, something that keeps you up at night maybe, or just something that is like, that could work for like a fairy forest, you know? Like you could really go anywhere with that sort of an emotional growth. So do whatever you want to, or don't do anything if you're not a musician, that's fine too. Maybe just enjoy what's there from other people like Sakuzyo who just know where to place this sort of thing. But I always want people to make stuff. So hopefully this inspired somebody. If not, that's all your choice too. But I think I'm done yapping about it, so thank you all so very much for watching. If you enjoyed this video and you want me to get to something else, by all means, drop in the comments below and I will do my best as always to get to those. Or if you want to guarantee something, much like D's Balls did for this one, you can always go to my Patreon or my YouTube memberships, or you can force me to listen to something. Doesn't matter what it's from, who it's by, if it's good or bad, none of that matters, that's why it's a guarantee. But if you don't want to do any of that and you just want to follow me and support me for more stuff coming in the future, you know how to do all that, and I'll see all of you in the next video. Goodbye!